วัสดีค่ะ
Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another video again. I'm with Edward, all will be explained in a minute, but before I get into that, for guys who watch my channel regularly, you might remember about a year ago when I first moved out here, and it is a year, I've just renewed my long-term visa. I actually put out a video about why I decided to come and live in Bangkok at age 62. I'd separated from my wife and family. That wasn't my decision, but I decided to come and live out here rather than stay in the UK, where I think I would have been quite depressed. So I moved out here a year ago, and I thought as an anniversary to that video, which has now had over 100,000 views, I thought it'd be nice to get the viewpoint of somebody else who's recently done the same. So you might recognize Edward. He's been in one or two of my shorter clips recently. He's only moved out here a while ago, and I just thought it'd be nice to sit down and talk about his move and what he went through and what it took to get out here. I'm going to try not to delve in too personal, but maybe we can start from the very beginning. So Edward's actually from the States, from America, and you are from Chicago, I believe, isn't it? So at what point was it that you thought to yourself, you know what, I've had enough of the States or the West, I'm going to move out to Thailand? What was it that actually made you decide that?
It was my trip a year ago. I came out here for 4 weeks, and it was the first place that I've ever visited that I didn't want to leave.
Right,
so I had made my decision. I told my mom that, hey, look, I'm going to retire. I'm going to sell my belongings, and I'm moving to Thailand, and that's where I'm going to stay.
So when you decided to come out here, obviously you must have some family. I believe you told me you weren't married, you don't have kids, but obviously you have parents, brothers, sisters, I don't know.
Right.
Who did you leave behind, and how did they feel about you moving out here full time?
So probably my mother was the biggest one that was disappointed, but she understood that I was going to be retiring and it would really be something that I would enjoy. The rest of the family was really good about it, brothers and sisters, but probably the biggest one was my best friend.
I'm not trying to get too personal, but is it okay if I ask you a little bit about what you did for a living, how you can support yourself?
Sure.
I mean, what did you do when you were full-time working in the States?
So I worked IT for a large financial institution. I also teach at a private university. My basic living expenses here are all predicated on my investments that I sold to move out here. Those will carry me through until I'm eligible for Social Security, and Social Security will be paying me more than I'm planning on spending on my budget for my investments. And I still have my 401k and other investments that I'm not touching that will continue to grow over the next 10, 15 years.
Right, for non-Americans, what's a 401k?
401k.
401k.
Yeah, it's basically funds that you put in. A lot of times the company matches, and they're in mutual funds or index funds.
Okay, it's a pension, kind of pension scheme.
Exactly.
We have similar in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you had a property or a couple of properties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to sell them. How was that in this climate? Did you find it easy to get rid of them, sell them, or was it a little bit difficult?
It was amazingly easy. I actually unfortunately had to sell 3 properties.
Oh, wow.
The third one was my mom.
Okay.
She actually got sick and passed before I even came out. That's what delayed my departure. So I had to sell my properties and her property, but everything went great in the US. But again, that was, 6 months, 8 months ago.
And how about, a lot of guys ask me, if they're moving out here full time, they're not sure if they're going to go back one day. What should they bring out here? And I basically say, I tell them, look, come out with a minimal, because everything's cheap enough to buy here. There's no point paying for it, storage.
So I sold everything but what would fit in one storage unit that I still have, and I'm going to keep that for about 12 months, maybe 24. Just to make sure, it was something like I have some hockey jerseys that would not fit this climate. I have some paintings that would not fit this
environment.
Space. Yeah. So I want to keep those, and ultimately, if I end up buying a house or something out here, then I can bring that stuff into the house. But for now, they're staying in storage.
Right. Okay. So you've sold all your properties. Your mother's passed on, unfortunately, but it has happened. You're ready to come out here. What was your first steps? Obviously, you had to book an airline ticket. That's the first thing, and get out here. And where did you stay initially? From the US, where did you plan to stay, and for how long before you found this apartment, which we'll talk a little bit about later on?
Okay. So last year I stayed a week in Bangkok, and I was going to do 3 weeks in Pattaya. And unfortunately, I thought Pattaya was great for a resort town, but not a place I wanted to live. So I came back to Bangkok. So I settled that I was going to start in Bangkok. That was going to be home base, and then branch out if I decided to go someplace else. So I knew I was going to be in Bangkok. I came in, I had an Airbnb for like 3 weeks. That gave me enough time to research different condo associations around here, get a property, that I liked, get a lease signed and then move everything from the Airbnb to the condo.
Okay, and how did you find when you're in your Airbnb and then you were looking for apartments, condominiums, same sort of thing? I know we did it differently because I went knocking on doors, but you used agents. How did you find the local agents here? They're foreigners, first of all, weren't they? They weren't Thais.
Correct. I did use an agent. She was Thai who also spoke English. She was really good. I also did knocking on doors. And as a matter of fact, this unit was me knocking on a door, but then she got involved with the other agent and then they put the deal together. There were some specific requirements that I needed. So I would highly recommend the hybrid approach. Knock on doors, see the area, but use an agent because that gives you, the hybrid approach gets you more properties because the agent's going to generally only show you properties that they have in their book.
High end as well, right?
Could be more than your budget that you wanted, and they try to talk you into a higher condo fee because they get a better commission. But you get to look at other properties, and she was fine. She got her commission. She got paid. I got the best thing for me, and so I would do a hybrid approach.
So how many apartments did you actually look at before you decided this was the one for you?
Probably 14.
Oh wow, that was a lot. I actually looked at 2 myself and took the 3rd one. And how did you find compared to the States, I don't know if you've used agents in the States, but how did you find the agent here? Did they work well for you or could they have done better?
The agent I used was a referral, and I did like her. There was no doubt about it. And I actually talked to a couple other agents just from walking in and seeing if they had, because they have a book of properties that they can sell or rent, and the end result is not everybody shares the same book. It's not like in the States. We have something in the States called the MLS, Multiple Listing Service, and all the agents can access it. I don't know what you have in the UK.
Something similar, yeah.
But they don't have that here.
Yeah, I think the other thing to remember as well is you can be with one agent and you can like a particular block and they'll say, well, I don't have any apartments in there because they've only got 1 or 2 or 3 apartments that they're allowed to let out. But another agent, because most of the apartments here, they're not owned by one company, they're individual owners, and all those individual owners, they use different agents. So it's definitely worth looking around. So, okay, so let's talk about the fees and everything. So when you got this place, it's 20,000 baht a month, isn't it, for this apartment? We'll talk about that later, what you get for it and everything. But the 20,000 baht, so when you moved in here, what was the deal as far as deposits, agents, fees and things like that?
Typical Thailand, they ask for 2 months security deposit. I would only give 1 month. They were perfectly fine with that after we negotiated it down. And I actually did something different to get my rate a little bit lower. I actually gave them a larger amount. I paid multiple months in advance so that it was easier for me. One payment and I was locked in, and then I make them another payment later.
Yeah, that's always quite attractive for a landlord. So, okay, so you've got your apartment. Now, I know when you moved in here, you were happy with the apartment, the location, but you weren't so happy with what was in here, and you bought some, we'll look at it later, but you changed several items. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, they were functional items, but I need a particular bed just for my back, so I had to go get a particular bed. I didn't really like the couch that they had. It was functional, but I wanted a better couch. So ultimately, IKEA just opened down in M-Sphere, and I went to IKEA, got a number of very nice things there for a very reasonable price, got a nice computer desk, and I changed some things and make it more my home.
And now you're happy with how everything is?
Very happy.
Okay, we had to take a little pause there because the tripod was sinking very, very slowly and we were disappearing, so I've had to change tripods. I think we're okay now, Ed. Right, okay, so we were talking about, you said they initially wanted 2 months deposit, which was what I was asked for. And like you, I said, no, I'll only pay 1. If you take 1 month deposit, month up front, I'm ready to move in, and they accepted that.
I mean, some people might ask, what's the big deal with 2 months? And in the Thai the Thai realtor market, a lot of times you don't get your security deposit back.
Yeah.
And an agent that I worked with basically said 99% of the time she gets it back. So she has a very specific contract that she works in. And I would recommend that you try to just keep it to 1 in case you're one of those people that don't get your security deposit back.
So you've paid your rent, you paid your deposit, you got the keys, you've come in, you've changed everything. So from the point of making the decision in America to actually having your apartment and everything in it, you're now settled, your PC desk and everything. What were the obstacles? Were there any, or was it all plain sailing?
No, there was obstacles. Immigration, purchasing a motorcycle or motorbike, as they call it out here. there were hiccups along the way, and you have to be patient. Number one, you have to expect there is going to be a hiccup, and you have to roll with the punches. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself insane, and you're going to want to leave. It's just a philosophy you have to take.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've said to people before as well, somebody said to me, is there any reason why you shouldn't go to Thailand? Is there anything I won't like about it? And I basically said, look, if you're one of those people who is very impatient, very irritating, you need everything done right straight away, then Thailand isn't the place for you, because it doesn't always work immediately, and Thai time is very flexible, and people will say, I'll come up tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and they won't turn up till 3 o'clock if they turn up, and you've got to be able to suck it up, as they say. Yep. And so the actual immigration side of things, did you have an agent do your visa, your long-term visa, and has that all gone through okay?
Yes, I had an agent do my retirement visa. Now, I came in on a tourist visa, so I had a clock on me, and I wanted to go with somebody that would get it done quickly and very efficiently. Sure. And I went with somebody I'm very happy. I certainly paid a premium for that, and I understood that, but that was a choice that I made. If I was to do that again, I would probably, I didn't realize this, but I could get a retirement visa through my embassy or the Thai embassy in the US. Then I wouldn't be under that pressure. With that retirement visa, you could likely go get a bank account, and you could end up getting your lease a lot easier. So I would recommend somebody that had time and willing to do it to go through the embassy.
Yeah, and for me, myself, obviously not being American, I do know people who have done the retirement visa themselves, but it's a lot of paperwork in Thai. There's a lot of sitting around time, taking tickets, waiting, and some guys swear by it. You know, when I've made videos in the past about using agents, they're like, oh, you know, throwing their hands in the air and saying, no, why waste money? But for me, it's not a waste of money, because it's so simple. You pay your money, your visa comes, and, you know, that's the end of it.
Can I add one thing about US and the embassy
Sure.
that I wasn't aware of that might impact your audience? And that is, it's really two things. One of the big forms out here is the residency certificate that proves that you live in this particular location. And it used to be that the US Embassy used to do that. They no longer do that. And I was also told, again, this is secondhand information, so do your own research, that if you live in Bangkok, you come in and you're on a retirement visa, you cannot get a residency certificate until your first 90 days reporting. Now, there's ways around that, and that's what my agent did, is they went around it. But ultimately, if you're doing it on your own, be aware of those two different things.
So why don't you just explain, because she didn't do anything illegal. I know what she did, but why don't you tell everybody how she got around it?
She just went to another province outside of Bangkok to be able to file the paperwork and get that residency certificate, and that gives me the ability. By the way, from a residency certificate, you need one to buy a motorbike, you need one to buy a car, different one. You need another one to not register, that's for the buy, sorry, to get your driver's license for a car, and you need one for a driver's license for a motorbike. So if you were planning to buy all those and do all those, you need 4.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's not complicated, but it's just, you know, getting all these residency certificates. And I think it's quite important to let people know that you can't just get one and photocopy it. They want originals all the way, right? They
want originals, and they really need to have the 4 different types if you're doing those 4 different functions. So it's original and what you're doing for that particular form.
Yeah, and if you're one of those guys, you're just listening to this, you think this is just so complicated. You know, I want to go out to Thailand long term, but I don't want to deal with this. Just come out here. Use an agent. When you pay an agent to help you with the visa process, you're not buying a visa. It doesn't work like that. That would be illegal. You're basically paying an agent to facilitate a service and just to make life easier and do all the paperwork and everything like that. And there are some very good agents around. They're easy to find. I can recommend you an agent if you want to go that way. You might be one of those kind of guys who just want to do it all yourself, and it is possible to do it. So how long is it now that you've actually been out here? So when you first arrived and you went into that Airbnb, what's the period till today? How long have you been here?
About just over 4 weeks.
Oh, so it's quite a short period, really. And in that 4 weeks, I think what I'd like to ask you firstly, is there anything that's different to how you imagined it to be? So you came out here for a holiday, a week or so, you said, and now you've moved out here. Is there anything you had in your mind before you got here, this is how this would work and happen, but it's been completely different, or anything comes to mind?
I do a lot of research, and not really. I wouldn't say anything's completely different. I was surprised on some of the hiccups in the processes. I was surprised on the things I'm doing out here, where I thought I might be doing one thing, I'm now doing something slightly different. But no, it's been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, okay. And what about pricing compared to the USA? Because I know compared to the UK, but just everyday things like, shopping for your groceries, eating out, transportation. How would you find that compared to the US?
Almost everything is cheaper over here. The only thing that's not cheaper is durable goods that have to be imported. There's always usually an import duty that are on those goods. If you're in the US or the UK or Australia, you can bring whatever you can bring, and then you have likely less of a duty. Don't quote me on that. Do your own research. But ultimately, prices, we are in Bangkok. It is the most expensive area in Thailand. If you want to go cheap, go other sounds, other provinces. They are much cheaper. But I chose Bangkok because I like to be able to walk to just about anything and do just about anything I want at a reasonable price.
So, okay, for an example, let's take this apartment. So you're paying 20,000, and when I featured this, I did a very short clip on it. We had comments on the video that said, it's expensive. You can get the same in Pattaya for 7,000 a month. I mean, how would you respond to those kind of comments about pricing?
Well, they're accurate. You can get a nice place in Pattaya for that, and you can get it even cheaper if you want to go out to an island or Isan or somewhere else. But you're paying for more than just the living space. You're paying for the location. In real estate, location, location, location. And it's great here.
Yeah, and I think people don't actually realize what is around here. So unlike the West, when you rent an apartment here, I would say like 99% of them, you get a swimming pool, and not a piddly little thing. You get a decent sized swimming pool. Most of them, you have a fully equipped gym. Some of them are small, but it is fully equipped. The area here, you're next to, well, why don't you tell everybody about the area, just what's around here?
Yeah, I walk out the door and I hit Benchiketi Park, which is a fabulous park for me. I'm a cyclist, I like to ride bikes. Literally, if you're down on a deep soy, a lot of the higher end places, so I'm paying that 20,000 baht, they have a shuttle that takes you up to main Sukhumvit that I don't have to pay for, right? And then they're on demand, and it's 18 hours a day that they work. So, sure. I mean, that's a great feature.
And just for anybody who doesn't know, Sukhumvit Road from Soi 3 to Asok, it's kind of a touristy area, but it's got everything here. And like Ed said, there's a great park that I also use. I cycle as well. Ed's a bit more serious about cycling than me. And, you've got the underground station. There's a great mall down the road, Terminal 21. Yeah. And it's just a good place to be. It's not for everybody, but I like it. Ed likes it. And when you get quoted the price for an apartment, you've got to consider what you're getting with it. You're not getting like for like Pattaya or a like for like Isan, right?
Right.
You're paying for
apples to apples, right?
Apples to apple, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're pretty happy at the moment. So long-term plans, have you got any?
Yeah, I'm going back to the States in April, and I will be visiting friends, family, and spending some the summer and monsoon season, right?
Okay, yeah.
Rainy season here. I'll be in the U.S. and then I'll be coming back in probably October timeframe.
Right.
And that's going to happen for maybe, my plan is 2 or 3 years, and then I think I'll be at full retirement mode where I'll sell my last of my stuff in the States, and I'll be out here permanently, other than to visit friends for a couple weeks.
Well, you've just answered one of the questions I was going to ask you, because I was going to ask you, are you here now and you'll never go back, or do you plan to go back sometimes? So you've just answered that. Yeah, a lot of guys do that. They'll come out in the first couple of years, they'll go back and just see if it really is for them, because the grass is always greener and sometimes it's not. So apart from going back to the US, now you live here, you're retired. As you know, I've said in many of my videos, you can't just come out here and do nothing. You'll go bonkers, basically. So you've already said you like cycling. How do you intend to fill your days when you're not cycling? You wake up, you've got a whole day ahead of you. What do you intend to do to keep busy?
So I do some IT consulting for old customers that I have back in the US. So that keeps me a little bit busy. The cycling fills it in, but honestly, and I know I'm probably gonna get comments for this, but I'm a big PC gamer too. So there's some games that I play again with friends back in the US, and the end result is I can play those games and keep in contact and keep my social circles. So I enjoy doing that as well.
Yeah, and I don't think that's such a bad thing. If it's something you enjoy, obviously my time's taken up with YouTube. If I didn't have YouTube, I'd have to find something to keep me busy. But no, there's nothing wrong with gaming at all. And I know you're a big walker, aren't you? You like to just get out there and, you're always saying to me, well, I'll say to Ed, well, let's go and have some lunch. I'll go, should we take the BTS? Or he's, no, we'll walk. And I'm very reluctant to, because I don't like to kind of over sweat when I get there. If you're coming out here, it's very easy to research. There's a lot of information on the internet, which I guess you did from the States.
I did.
Yeah.
I did, yep. Yeah, and I will definitely plug you because you offer a consulting service. If somebody wants to use you, doesn't want to do the research, some people don't like doing research.
Sure.
Use Peter, and definitely he'll help you get situated.
Yeah, there's a link on my website. I'll drop the website link in the comments below. But basically, I offer a service where you can hook up with me online for an hour and a half, as long as you need. And anything you want to know about moving out here to Thailand or anything else about Thailand, we'll just talk one-on-one. It's completely private, encrypted. It's not recorded, and I can help you out with anything you want to talk about. And I will talk about anything as long as it's legal. Okay, right. So to finish with, I think what we'll do, we'll be a little bit nosy, and we'll just have a quick look around the apartment, if that's okay. I mean, we will get comments. It is fairly small, but I'm here now, and it is comfortable. And as we said, you've got the pool and the park, and I noticed behind me there a very large TV that wasn't here when I came here a week ago. How big is that?
That's a 65-inch TV.
Okay, well, let's go and have a look at it.
Sure.
Okay, so this is Ed's apartment, and it's actually one room, but it's divided. I mentioned this on the initial video I did when he first moved in. Do you want to just show us how that works there? That glass slides across, doesn't it?
Pretty much just slides across. Now, the unit did not have any curtains, so I had the landlord put curtains in at no charge to me.
Right, and so basically what that means is when you go to sleep at night or you're working on your computer, you can close that glass, and that's going to bring down the price of your air conditioning because you've got a separate unit up there, I see. And I'll just come over here, I'll go back, but I can see there you've got a very nice setup there. I'm going to actually pick your brains after this because it looks very nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I see you've got a nice laptop there. You've gone out and bought yourself a nice screen and a nice chair. It looks pretty good. That's a printer scanner, is it?
Yep, printer scanner combo.
Okay, and I believe you bought the bed as well, didn't you? Because there was a bed here.
Yeah, so this is a bed from IKEA to plug them. It actually has storage underneath, although the storage isn't in yet. It's back ordered.
Right.
Queen size, which is pretty typical, and it's very comfortable. I did get a different mattress. I didn't buy the mattress at IKEA.
Right, I think we're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room there because I can't help notice a bicycle. Now, I know this isn't the bicycle that you went with me to the park on. This looks a little bit more sophisticated. What is it?
Yeah, so this is an Orbe made out of Spain, and it's a road bike. It's not cheap by any strength of the imagination. It weighs about 9 kilos.
That is light.
That's with pedals and everything. I haven't had to do laps yet with it. I just rode it down the soy to get it here, but I love it already. So,
I mean, would it be too much to ask you what it cost?
About $3,500 in the U.S. Now the end result is it would be cheaper if I bought it in the U.S. But again, there's an import cost. Okay, and why do you keep it in the apartment? I think I know the answer, but I'll ask the obvious. $3,500 U.S. I don't want to just leave it downstairs. Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, so let's move over to the kitchen area. Obviously, you got that was here when you got here. Was it nearly killed your bike there? That was here when you got here. That's a fridge freezer. Fridge freezer, washer was here. We dry outside. Yeah. The microwave was really lousy and old. So that one there. This is the new one. You can, when you do a lease, you can say, I want this changed, I want this changed, and I want this changed. So they brought a new microwave. And that's exactly the one that I bought because I've got 2 microwaves in my apartment. You bought the oven as well, I believe. I bought that was $20 US. $20 US. Yeah. And how much was this micro? The owner bought it. Okay, so well I know I got one on Lazada. It was 1,600 baht, so you can work that out in your own currency. Exactly. Washing machine, which is great. Yep. There's a second microwave, which is a bit more expensive. And I know from talking to you, you prefer the one with the keypad for buttons, right? Yes, I do. Do you have a balcony here or not? I do. It's about 2.5, 3 feet deep and about 8, 9 feet. Sorry to use imperial dimensions. Yeah. So one thing I always say to people when they're looking for apartments, try to, most of them have got balconies, some of them don't. Try to get one with a balcony because obviously if you're using a washing machine, you need to dry your clothes, and
I can tell you the heat here and the humidity, they'll dry within a day.
Yep.
Right, okay, so you've also bought this sofa.
Correct.
And
now again, this is personal preference. The sofa that was here was fine. It wasn't comfortable for me, so I had them take it out. I went and bought, again, this sofa, and we call it Ottoman. You said it called Puffy, I think.
that's, well, Puffy, that's quite an old name, but
okay.
yeah.
And it's not what most people would want here, but I wanted kind of a recliner, and there's not enough room. So if you sit down and you put your feet up, you're very comfortable, and you have a wonderful 65-inch viewing experience of a movie.
Yeah, that's a nice TV. May I ask you, because I bought a 55-inch, that cost me about just under 10,000 baht. What did you pay for this one?
I think it was 13,000.
And where did you buy it from?
So I ended up buying it from Central Online.
That's a department store mall, yeah?
Yeah, but it was the online version of them. And that's one of the things I want to tell your viewers is I have done a lot of shopping. I've used different agencies, and every experience has been almost perfect. It's been beautiful. Compared to the US, it's in the same caliber of experience. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, and in fact, when you buy something mail order, you know, from the equivalent to Amazon, we use Shopee here and Lazada. They send you a text when you place your order. They send you a text when they deliver it. I mean, it's very well communicated in English and in Thai. So you've got yourself a little dining area there as well.
Yep.
It is little, but it will do the job.
It will.
And was that supplied with the apartment, or did you?
Yes. Most apartments are fully furnished. This was the table and the chairs that they had. They actually had a small desk that I had them take out. That was actually the coffee table that the fan is on right now.
Okay, yeah.
And I just used that and put it over there for now. I also added that dresser. I originally was going to put the dresser inside the big area behind here, which it would fit. I measured it, but I like it there better.
Okay, and the most important room in the house, of course, is
the bathroom.
The bathroom, and it's a nice, clean, very well presented bathroom. There's no window, as it's the same in my apartment. There's no window. It's good to have a window in bathrooms, and
yeah. So the bathroom did not have the shelves. It didn't have the mirrors. It didn't have the adjustment for the shower. So end result is you can customize your things. You just have to either get the owner's permission or use things that are removable, like self-adhesive type products.
Right, sure. Okay, that's about it. Thank you very much, Ed. I wish you all the best for your future in Thailand. I'm a year ahead of you, so I know what to expect. And I can tell you it's all 99% all good news. You've got a lot to look forward to. Guys, thank you very much for joining Ed and I today for the video. If there's anything you're not sure about, you're thinking about moving out here, drop me a comment below, and I'll try and get back to you. Or you can write to me. My email address is also in the description, or we can have a one-on-one consultation, up to you, whatever you want. But thanks again, Ed. I dare say we'll see each other. We're fairly close. We live fairly close by. So I met Ed as a viewer through my channel, Thailand Bound. Obviously now I've spent some time with him. I helped him out when he first came here with some information. And we've become friends. We've gone out to eat a couple of times. And, you know, who knows, when you come out here, look me up and maybe we can do the same. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. And we'll catch you next time round.